you can just put that on your lap. Okay, so affirmative action in America is focused on making equal opportunities for people of color and women in the workforce. However, in today's society, it seems more outdated than useful and actually can cause more harm than good. As of 2014, universities are still able to use race and gender as a factor for scholarship and admittance to their institutions. While that seems like a great idea, it also diminishes the accomplishments of other students. There's actually a student who got rejected from the University of Michigan on the basis of they were white, even though they were a top honors student in high school. America isn't the same as it was when this action was administered. It's outdated, and eventually it's just going to come full circle, and instead of helping people, it's just going to take away opportunities. It was implemented during the Civil Rights Movement, which was in the 60s, and while it made sense back then, it doesn't really apply today. There are still clearly racial struggles, and there's still struggles between the genders, but it's not enough to require lawful action when it comes to hiring. A lot of times people want to bring up the pay gap when you're talking about affirmative action, but that has also been debunked on terms of the entire career between a woman and a man, but that's another topic. There isn't a big enough gap to warrant lawful action between races and genders being hired. As a matter of fact, in Stanford, there was more segregation than diversity in the school, students found, because of how they accepted students based on how diverse they were instead of how good they were. So instead of looking for the smart kids and the top students, they're now just looking for students who will make them look good, which hurts everyone, because not only will these students be forced into an environment where they aren't prepared to do the hard work, but they're being accepted over other students who might be better suited to an Ivy League school, but they're not being accepted because they're not diverse enough. Discrimination is discrimination no matter what. You can't just say that there's no discrimination because the person isn't part of a minority group. What they have accomplished in their life should get them to the job or the university that they want to be in. It can't just be, oh, you weren't diverse enough, so we can't accept you into this university. It should be, you got the grades, you did the work, and you participated in the activities that were necessary of you to get into an Ivy League school or get the job. It should be based on resume, not race, either way. So it shouldn't be a law between, oh, we need to make sure that they're hiring minorities, we need to make sure they're hiring women. It should be, we need to make sure that we're hiring good people. While it makes sense that there's laws against not hiring people based on racial reasons, you can't force people to hire certain groups of individuals based on race, based on gender. It's actually demeaning to the minority groups. I know me as a woman, I would not want to be hired just because I'm a woman and they need a woman in the workforce. I would want to be hired because I did the work and I'm good at my job and I'm suited to the job. Because if I'm hired based on my gender, and if someone's hired based on their race, it's only going to cause friction between employees and friction between managers and even friction between customers, possibly. And so it's just not fair. I don't think that it would be a great idea to just hire someone because they're a woman. I think they should be hired because they did what they needed to do. They've shown that they're good. They've shown that they're a good teammate. In today's society, we don't need to be diverse. We just need people who are able to get the job done. If you're not able to get the job done, you shouldn't be hired. And it's clear when people are hired based on just being diverse. In fact, another claim on pro-affirmative action would be that universities' diversity percentages have dropped, meaning like their minority student numbers dropped after they weren't required to use affirmative action. I don't think that that's really applicable because of course the numbers are going to drop. They have gone back to just admitting students who are very good. So maybe it's just that in those minority groups, less people were accepted from the minority group because less of the minority group were fitted to start in the university. The most important thing is that equal opportunity does not mean equal outcome. You can get the same opportunities, but different people use them in different ways. Because of this, not everyone will succeed. That's just how life is. That's how America is. You have to work to get where you want to be. You can't just have things handed to you. So while it worked in the past and while it helped overcome a lot of discrimination in the past, it is not the right thing to use in the future. The solutions of yesterday won't fix tomorrow. So I don't think that using a law from 50 years ago is going to help very much when thinking about the future. I think that you should focus on the context of today, and if today it will work. But clearly, affirmative action is not going to work forever, and maybe not today, but maybe within a decade or two we will be able to abolish it, so that way we won't need laws to tell us how diverse our workforces must be, and instead we will hire people based on their accomplishments and their resumes. Thank you.